Welcome to WEBN General News. I'm Chloe Fadum. Breaking news, Air Canada CEO Michael Rousseau is stepping down after facing backlash due to his comments about the Air Canada crash at LaGuardia Airport last week. During his condolence message, he spoke almost entirely in English, receiving criticism from many people. Many politicians voiced their frustration in the wake of his speech, saying that Rousseau's inability to speak French disconnected him from a large part of Canada. Lawmakers voted unanimously in favor of a motion calling for Rousseau's resignation. Rousseau issued a public apology, saying that his French limitations had shifted the focus away from the families affected by the crash and the efforts of the airline employees. Rousseau has been with Air Canada since 2007 and was appointed as CEO in 2021. He will leave the company later this year. A police investigation is underway after 2 people were hospitalized after a shooting in the south end of Boston Sunday night. Police were dispatched to the area just after 7 p.m. after multiple reports of gunshots in the area were called in. The extent of the victims' injuries has not been released yet, but police have said that they are non-life-threatening. The investigation is still open with no arrests made so far. More than 8 million people across the United States participated in over 3,300 No Kings protests on Saturday. The organizers of the event called it the largest single-day demonstration in U.S. history.
No kings in the U.S.
Donald Trump has got to go. We hate. Ho, ho.
This was the third No Kings protest in the past year. The first one in June of 2025 drew an estimated 5 million people, and the second in October of 2025 drew an estimated 7 million people. At the flagship rally in St. Paul, Minnesota, Bruce Springsteen and Joan Baez performed, while Tim Walz, Bernie Sanders, and Jane Fonda spoke in front of a crowd of 100,000 people. As of today, President Trump has not commented on the protests. After the 6-week TSA shutdown saw long lines and less workers at airports, the shutdown is officially over.
This morning, I did receive a deposit into my account, as many of my colleagues have, but unfortunately, it was not the full amount owed. So we're still waiting to be made whole with that.
Around 61,000 TSA employees have been working with no pay since the funding for DHS expired in early February. This prompted a partial government shutdown, with employees collectively missing more than $1 billion in pay. According to CNN, workers have only started to receive 2 paychecks from March and not any of the partial payments that they should be receiving from late February. With more news in politics, we'll head to our politics correspondent, Kelly Egan, who has details on the No Kings protest here in Boston.
Thank you, Chloe. Along with the millions of people who participated in No Kings protests across the country, approximately 180,000 people rallied in Boston Common on Saturday. This was bigger than the Boston's No Kings protest back in October, which brought out 125,000 people. Event organizers expected a bigger crowd for Saturday's protests, and they were right. Mark Sanford is making his final plea to return to Congress. The former congressman and governor of South Carolina had his political reign cut short in 2011 after it was revealed that he had previously had an affair and covered it up. The backlash forced Sanford to resign, but he made his bid to return just hours before the deadline to run for the primary for Carolina's 1st district seat last night. A new plan from President Trump is being challenged in the Supreme Court. The plan would involve the Department of Housing and Urban Development moving formerly homeless people from permanent housing to temporary transitional housing. Temporary housing is usually offered for up to 2 years, but advocates say that people only stay for a few months before ultimately returning to homelessness. The proposed plan has received negative feedback, including a lawsuit from the National Alliance to End Homelessness. That's all I have for politics. Back to you at the desk.
When we come back, we have the Final Four for this year's March Madness and learn more about the charge against Tiger Woods. We'll be right back.
Last week, Brandon met a girl on a dating app. One day after work, he finally found the courage to ask her out. No answer. He started to panic. Was he being too pushy? Maybe it was too
Hey, sorry I didn't respond. I was driving. I would love to go on a date. How does tonight sound?
Brandon tried to play it cool, but inside he knew. A girl so smart, so responsible. She must be a keeper.
Welcome back to WEBN General News. 14-year-old Otto Shellhammer had a perfect bracket for Women's March Madness until the Sweet 16. The 8th grader from Fort Worth, Texas had successfully predicted all games up until Notre Dame's win against Vanderbilt this past Friday. Shellhammer had the last perfect bracket from over 40 million entries for both the women's and men's tournaments. He told the Associated Press that his bracket was 100% luck and that he didn't know anything about basketball going in. His streak for correct predictions lasted for 48 games. With more updates from the sports world, our sports correspondent Emily Champagne has the latest. Emily?
Thank you, Chloe. The NFL is launching a professional flag football league. The league announced it will partner with Tomorrow Sports to launch the new circuit, backed by an investor pool of NFL clubs and former players like Russell Wilson, Tom Brady, and Larry Fitzgerald. Flag football is one of the fastest growing sports in the world, with over 20 million players globally. Youth population has also jumped more than 50% since 2020. The launch timeline is expected to align with the run-up to this 2028 Summer Olympics in Los Angeles, where it will make its debut as an Olympic sport. The WNBA's Connecticut Sun are leaving New England after Houston Rockets owner Tillman Fertitta agreed to buy the franchise for around $300 million. The Sun will play out of the 2026 season in Connecticut before moving to Houston in 2027 to play at the Toyota Center as the Houston Comets. The original Comets won the league's first 4 championships, marking them as the first dynasty before folding nearly 20 years ago in 2008. The sale currently waits for approval from the WNBA Board of Governors. The Elite Eight is done and the Final Four field is set. This Saturday in San Antonio, Texas, it's UConn versus Illinois, followed by Arizona versus Michigan. UConn punched their ticket with a dramatic 1-point win over Duke yesterday, thanks to freshman Balin Mullins. In their 73-72 victory, the guard hit a buzzer-beating three-pointer from 35 feet away. On the other side, Michigan was absolutely dominant in their Elite Eight matchup, demolishing Tennessee 95-62. However, standing in their way is number 1 seeded Arizona, who will be looking to make their first title game appearance in nearly 20 years. The winner of each semifinal will meet again on the 6th of April. That's all the sports news that I have. Back to you at the desk.
For the 12th season in a row, the Boston Celtics have clinched a spot in the playoffs. On Sunday night, the Celtics beat the Charlotte Hornets 114-99, pushing them into the postseason. This also marks the 5th straight 50-win season for the team. Jason Tatum was a big part of this game, scoring 32 points, 8 assists, and 5 rebounds throughout the game. There are 8 more regular season games before the NBA playoffs begin on April 18th. The Celtics are among only 4 teams so far to have clinched a playoff spot. On Friday, Tiger Woods was arrested on a DUI charge following a car crash in Florida where he was driving over the speed limit.
But when it came time for us to ask for a urinalysis test, he refused, and so he's been charged with DUI, with property damage, and refusal to submit to a lawful test.
He blew triple zeros on a breathalyzer test but refused to submit a urine sample. This comes just days after Woods returned to the TGL Finals after being out with injury since 2024. Woods was last arrested on DUI charges in May of 2017, receiving 1-year probation, a fine, mandated community service, and regular drug testing. In February of 2021, Woods was also involved in a car crash in Los Angeles, which was said to be due to driving over the speed limit. Woods has yet to comment on his arrest. Actor James Tolkien has died at the age of 94. Tolkien was known for his roles in Back to the Future, Top Gun, and many more. No cause of death was provided, but his agent said he died peacefully at home. Tolkien's most famous roles were Principal Gerald Strickland in Back to the Future and Commanding Officer Tom Stinger Jardian in Top Gun. Tolkien spent more than 40 years acting in theater and on screen. Over 12 tons of Kit Kat bars have been stolen off a truck making its way from Italy to Poland. The truck contained more than 400,000 Kit Kat bars. The truck left the Nestle production site in Italy late last week but never arrived at its destination in Poland. In a public statement, Nestle confirmed the theft, saying that the truck and bars are still nowhere to be found, but that they are working closely with local authorities to try and find them. While the bars are gone, each batch has unique codes that can be tracked, and Nestle says the company will be alerted if these pop up anywhere. That's all the news we have for you today. For more, make sure to check out our YouTube channel or website at WEBN.TV. Have a great night.